Welcome to the Doctor and Athlete Podcast. I'm Dr. John Harmon, and I'll be your host this evening as we explore and shed a little light on this new phototherapy, light therapy, this winner of the Global Stem Cell Innovation Biotech Award for 2025. By the way, today what is the day today? It's March the 4th, I think. It is. I wanted to get that date. March the 4th, 2026. It's been 2 weeks since I did one of these. Glad to be back. Really glad to be back. So, we're talking about this little phototherapy device. And I'm going to take it in so you can see where you plug it in. Do you see that battery right there? Oh wait, there's no power source. People ask me all the time, how could this be a phototherapy device if there's no power source? Well, we're going to discover that tonight. We're going to talk about that. What powers this little patch that we're talking about? Before we go on, I want to mention, although I am a doctor, I'm not your doctor, and nothing I say tonight should be interpreted as medical advice. I'm not diagnosing, treating, curing any diseases. This patch does not cure anything. There are no claims made tonight by LifeWave. The people who give their experiences tonight, it's their experiences. Your experiences may be different. But welcome, and I want to be able to answer these 3 questions by the time I'm finished tonight. Number 1, does this patch work? I hope by the time I'm finished that I've presented enough information that you will really grasp this, that it does work. Number 2, could this patch work for me? Ask yourself that question. And number 3, could I also share this technology with other people? After all, somebody who cared about you is sharing this technology with you because they care about you. It might have been for your health. You might have something going on nobody's been able to figure out. Like I said, we don't cure things, but what this patch does, it helps remind your body of what it was supposed to be doing all along, but better. Tonight, I'm going to explain the better part. Why is it better now than what it used to be? And also, the third box I want you to check in relation to that box is for your wealth. You may be in an industry where AI is going to take over. I heard some astounding stats yesterday. AI is supposed to be as smart as humans by 2027. And some of the predictions are really dire. Like large companies are laying off large swaths of their employees, and your job may be at risk, or they see you working 2 and 3 jobs and they want you to have some time freedom. And so here they are, they're sharing this technology with you tonight. So take a look at it for different reasons. And now I want to invite our guest to come on. We have a guest tonight. His name is John Harmon, Dr. John Harmon. People have reached out to me and they've asked me, well, I don't have a recording of how you use these patches in your practice. I don't have a short recording that I can share with people on what happened with you. So why don't you tell your story? So tonight, you get my story. And in order to understand where I was in April, actually the end of March 2020, you have to understand that I was in bad shape. In November of 2017, I had a serious bone infection that nearly took me out. 50% of the people that get osteomyelitis don't make it. So that took a really big hit on my body. I had a PICC line with 60 cc's of antibiotics up underneath my armpit once a day for 2.5 months. I couldn't go to work. I was at home trying to run my Clear Mind Idaho from home, and luckily I had some really good assistants. But then I had another surgery. I had carpal tunnel surgery. And then I had another surgery, spinal fusion surgery. Each time, you're on antibiotics. It really puts a strain on many things: your regenerative powers, your microbiome because of the antibiotics. So I was really not in that great a shape back then in March of 2020. And my friend called me up and he said, "What do you know about stem cells?" Well, I had stem cell injections in both of my knees. My cost on a little tiny vial that was only as big as the end of my pinky finger was $2,500 each. And they helped a little bit. So he said, "Have you ever heard of stem cells?" And I said, "Yeah, I had stem cell injections in both knees, and they helped a little bit." And then he told me about this little tiny patch. I already showed it to you, but look at this little thing. It doesn't look like much. And he said, "What if you could activate your regenerative cells by wearing this little thing?" I said, you gotta be kidding me. And I started doing a little research about it. And then I introduced it to a few patients. Actually, the first one I did, this man brought his wife in for anxiety, and that's what we treated in the clinic, and depression and all those brain things. But the husband, man, I looked at him, I said, "Scott, what's going on with you? I know you brought your wife in, but what's going on with you?" And he told me, "Well, I've been diagnosed with ALS type symptoms. They don't know what's wrong with me. I'm on 8 to 10 oxycodone a day. I'm on $1,200 worth of prescription drugs. I can't work. I can't play with my kids." I said, "Here." I actually gave him a bunch of the patches. I didn't know what that. I said, "Here, try these. I just heard about these." 10 days later, he was able to run through our parking lot. And I said, "Man, I should probably incorporate these into my practice." So this is what I did. We treated mostly brain issues. And so I read the study, and I've done different webinars about the brain study that was done, where they had the participants in the study wearing the X39 patch, and they did brain mapping before they started, and at 3 weeks and at 6 weeks. And it showed the really great beneficial changes in the brain. And so that made sense to me. So each one of our patients, whether they purchased a package of care for mild issues or moderate or severe, they had various amounts of the X39. Well, healthcare practitioners, if you do that, that means you get to talk about it with every single patient who comes into your clinic. Why not do that instead of, maybe down the line, you can tell them about it. It's going to benefit your patients. I know you have this inside you, docs on this call. You're not just going to willy-nilly recommend a patient. That's not ethical. But if it helps the people with the help that you're giving them, then it's not just kind of willy-nilly self-serving. It's actually really beneficial, and it will enhance your outcomes. By the way, if you do any light therapies, laser, infrared, any of those light therapies, the GHK copper peptide increases the effectiveness of those. So whatever treatments you're doing, you're going to get better outcomes, and you're going to get more referrals. So that's the way I looked at it. I started doing that, and then I had 3 more surgeries to go. Like I said, I was in bad shape, and I needed to have a stress echocardiogram done because of some funky feelings I had in my heart. And it turned out that I had a right bundle branch block that I wasn't even aware of when I started using X39. So 4.5 months in, you know what my thought was? Why didn't it fix it already? It's been 4.5 months. But I kept using it, And, maybe they spontaneously go away, but 2 different doctors have said, we've never seen one of those go away, but a year and a half later, it was gone. So the hill that I used to feel like, when I would walk up the hill, I used to feel like my heart was going to pound out of my chest. I can run up that hill now. I am no longer plagued with a right bundle branch block. Right away, my vision started getting better. I haven't worn glasses in at least 5 years. I don't even know where they are. I used to have bifocals and regular glasses I would use for driving. Haven't used them in 5 years. And many other things, but those are the really, the serious thing was the right bundle branch block. Again, not a claim made by LifeWave. This is my experience. This is what happened to me. But I've had so many of my patients continue on using the X39 because of the benefits that they received, because I spoke up and told them about this technology. So in my opinion, it's your responsibility as a doctor or a healthcare practitioner to help your patients the best way you can. If you can activate, if you can remind their bodies of what it used to do, only better. And here's the only better part I was talking about. When we're young, making a lot of stem cells, what are most of those stem cells going to? Building a bigger body. You got to grow in height. You got to do all these things. You're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then as we age, we're not growing anymore. What if you could return those regenerative cells back to the state when you were that age, and now they can be devoted to regeneration and repair. So what could that possibly help? Almost anything. So my wife and I'm going to be 71. She just turned 61. We feel like we've got a new lease on life. I really think had this not come into my life 6 years ago, I would already be into that slide, into frailty that older people just kind of accept. I'm going to get slower and I'm not going to be able to make my sandwich, and somebody make lunch for me. I can't stand up long enough to make my sandwich. Now we work out, we go on trips. We have a wonderful life together because we have our health and our vigor. And when you get older, that's everything. And we have our sleep as well. Sleep is really good as well. I could go on the benefits. We don't have time to do that, but I wanted everybody to hear the things that have shifted for me that made me so passionate about sharing this technology. So how do you get these things? I mentioned we want to show you how easy it is to share, or to ask yourself if you could share them. I want to do that right now. It's so easy to share. We simply say, hey, here it is. So when we introduce this to someone, we go to this website. It's called Why the Light. It's a very easy to understand and not really long. And we say, hey, I think I found something that might be able to help you with whatever issue you have, without making any promises. Go to this website, Why the Light, scroll down. We're going to watch a little 3-minute video. But one of the really, I love this sentence right here. We discovered a way to use light, not chemicals, to signal your body's own cellular production. It's like flipping your body's own repair switch safely, effortlessly, and from within. Talk about research. There are over 80 studies done on these patches. We have, as we age, we start to see changes in skin and hair, and that's a multi-billion-dollar industry, people wanting to look their best. Why? Because when we look at somebody, that's the first thing we see. And, our body, our brains make judgments on how old this person is. Are they healthy? Do they glow? Do they have vigor? Or are they, not so engaging? And maybe not be able to have the stamina to do the things that we want to do. So we start to get aches and pains and poor sleep, slow recovery. I was there, fine lines, thinning hair, inflammation. This is not a better pill, a cream, an injectable, or a trend. This little circle in here is a crystal structure that does not exist in nature. What do you mean by that, Doc? Well, it acts very similar to when you go into a jewelry store and you walk up to the diamond cabinet and you look at the diamonds. They're clear, but you see different colors. The bright white light shining down on them gets separated out into the individual wavelengths that are perceived as colors by our brain and our eyes. Okay, your body is the bright white light. This represents the diamond. It reflects back a specific frequency into your body that activates your body's production of a very important peptide called GHK copper peptide. Okay, we're going to watch a short video here.
Light, the energy of life itself. Since the beginning of time, light has sustained us, fueled our growth, and shaped the world. Even Einstein recognized that everything we are is made of light. But what if we could harness the light within us, not just to live, but to renew, restore, and rejuvenate? As time goes on, we begin to show signs that things just aren't as they used to be. Energy fades, sleep declines, and healing takes longer. The reason? Our stem cells, the building blocks of renewal, become less effective over time. Since 2004, LifeWave has been delivering groundbreaking technology to help the body do what it was designed to do, only better. Introducing LifeWave X39, the first product in the world that activates stem cells using our body's own light. Backed by clinical research, multiple patents, and over 10 years of stem cell research, LifeWave's founder, David Schmidt, achieved something remarkable in the field of wellness and regenerative science that others, despite years of research and billions in funding, could not. The result? A revolutionary wearable light technology that unlocks the power of activating our own stem cells with a single, safe, affordable, non-transdermal patch that puts you back in control of how you look, feel, and perform. Here's how it works. Unlike traditional light therapy, which requires external light sources, X39 uses the body's own infrared light. When an X39 patch is applied to any point on the body, our infrared light is reflected back into the tissue, sending a signal to the brain, activating a powerful peptide, GHK copper peptide, known to activate our stem cells. These younger, more effective stem cells then go to work, enhancing energy, relieving pain, improving sleep, accelerating recovery, and promoting healthier hair and skin. Unlike drugs or chemicals, X39 works naturally, awakening your body's ability to heal and thrive. Whether you want to boost energy for your busy life, recover faster, or simply feel your best, X39 supports your body's natural renewal process, helping you live long, live well, and live young. No matter your age or stage in life, your body is capable of more than you realize. It's time to unlock your full potential, restore your vitality, and embrace a healthier, more vibrant you. Be the light with LifeWave X39.
I always chuckle when I see they're counting up the age of people and they end at my age. How dare they? So when you have someone who's interested in this technology, you say, hey, let me send you this link to this 3-minute video. Scroll down and watch this 3-minute video. Most people are going to go and watch and see the rest of it, but attention spans are short. And if you tell them to go look at this website, it's a little bit different. So why light? Light is information. Our whole body is light, and we can influence with light. We can remind the body with light what it needs to do. It's like a laser, or all of these other therapies, the red light, blue light, green light, yellow light, purple light, all of these things, they affect our light body. And so this light reflected back into your body is designed to elevate this peptide right here, the GHK copper peptide. And we're going to go into a little bit of detail here, but this isn't a quick fix. It's not masking. And I tell people, if you are going to embark on a journey of being in a bodybuilding contest, and you commit to doing that, and you want to put on 40 pounds, how many pounds are you going to put on after the first workout? How about the second? How about the first week? How about 2 months? It's not how the body works. When you're repairing and regenerating your body, a lot of things are not noticed, yet they are happening. And so when you consider that your body is being rebuilt from the inside out, every single cell in your body will die and be replaced within the next year. Except our brain. Every cell needs to be replaced. Wouldn't it be great to replace them with a brand new cell? This is what I'm talking about. This is why I tell people, be patient with your stem cells. They're like teenagers. You can't tell them what to do. So it may take you a little bit longer than you might expect to actually rebuild. So let's take a look at this GHK copper peptide. Dr. Lauren Picard was the discoverer of this technology. I was in chiropractic college from 1986 to 1990. Never heard a word about GHK copper peptide. But what they did is they put old liver cells and put them in a petri dish, and then they put this peptide in there, and it actually reversed the age of the liver cells. That's where it all started. Started clear back in 1973 is when it was discovered. The research started in 1977, 27 years before the company LifeWave existed. But David Schmidt targeted being able to elevate our own production of this with the X39 patch. So what does it do? Well, in the research, not a claim made by LifeWave, the GHK caused adult stem cells to start producing again. GHK produces more stem cells and resets stem cells to a younger, healthier state from the literature. From the research, skin and hair. It tightened loose skin and thickened older skin. And the way it does that, it repairs what's called the elastin and the collagen. Elastin is what makes our skin stretchy and flexible. And what happens as we age, it gets thinner and thinner, and then we start to see wrinkles. It's not full. It also helps replace the fullness in the skin, reduce fine lines, reduce skin spots and lesions, protects from UV radiation, increases hair growth. It actually is shown in the literature to increase your production and replace your hair follicles that could be lost, but it also makes them bigger, and so your hair shafts get thicker, according to the literature. GHK accelerates wound healing, anti-fast growing cells. I think we all know what those mean, what that means. But the GHK copper peptide actually helps reset the cellular death cycle in some fast growing cells. It was found to be the best out of 1,309 bioactive compounds tested against fast growing cells. It also helps reset genes, 25 genes that are known to cause someone to be predisposed to having fast-growing cells. It helps reset those and turn them off, is basically what it does. Lung protection. Also, the top out of 1,309 bioactive compounds for pulmonary diseases or issues. The literature actually talks specifically about COPD, if you like to dig into that. Restored healthy function for lung cells. This is the GHK copper peptide. Antioxidant, brain and nerves. There's so much literature and research about how it benefits brain and nerves. The one I wrote the book about GHK copper peptide, I had to divide the information up into 3 chapters. So just know, a couple of my goals, I want to remember who I am when I'm old, and I don't want to be meeting a new person in my house every 15 minutes. That should be everyone's goal. The GHK copper peptide helps do that. Other actions, go on this website, whythelight.com. We can't read them all, but I want to point out 2 of them down at the bottom here. You see this big word, fibrinogen. Don't get confused about that. It's the substance that makes our red blood cells a little sticky. Because if they're not a little sticky, when you get a cut, you'll bleed out. Even if it's a little cut, there's nothing that can stop it. Fibrinogen helps us do that, but if it gets too high, you have too many cells, too many red blood cells that stick together, and that forms a clot, and that's called stroke. It is GHK that helps maintain normal fibrinogen levels. It increases myostatin production. That helps prevent cardiac failure. Isn't that wonderful? So, I'm going to show just a couple of really short clips about people who've had great experience with this patch. And this first one I want to show you, I just love the way she says the name of the person who had the courage to reach out and share this technology with her. It's almost with a reverence.
I was saving for my 20th stem cell treatment, and Barbara showed up, and she put 2 patches on me, and by the time we finished talking, I was able to lift my legs much easier. It was amazing. And so I canceled my appointment, and I've been wearing the patches every day since.
You know, there are people in your life that come along and make huge changes. I've had a few in my life too. And Barbara was definitely one of hers. There's another one right here for, he's in the beauty industry.
My tendonitis on my elbow right here flare up. And 5 years ago, it was so bad that I would only work a few hours a day. I grabbed it, I placed it right there where the pain was, where the tendonitis was. And that pain went down to a 2, and I moved my arm like normal.
So that saved him his job. He can still work. We'll do one more.
Patching, I had severe lower back and hip pain. My fingers were locked down every morning, and I had pain in my heel, making it hard to walk. I've been patching for 2.5 years, and those symptoms are gone, and I now walk 3 miles a day, and I feel great.
So you think about what we've talked about, some of the benefits, and they're really varied, aren't they? But when you think about the GHK copper peptide, it's kind of like the master key, like the janitor in my school had. I saw him had this big ring of keys, and I went up and I said, "Why do you have so many keys?" And he said, "Well, this key's for this closet, and this is with this one, but this one, this is the master key. I can open any of the classroom doors and the front door with that." That's the GHK copper peptide. There are more experiences here. Go and see their very short videos. They'll be helpful in helping you understand some of the benefits of using X39. We wear it 12 hours on, 12 hours off. The reason for that is your body stops responding to any light therapy after a period of time. The same was true in my practice. I had lasers, and a protocol could be a couple of minutes. I could leave it on longer, but they wouldn't get any more benefit than a couple of minutes. Same is true with the patch. We put a new one on after 12 weeks, so we wear it 12 on, 12 off. Put a new one on the next day, and then there are all kinds of benefits that start to happen. It's known in the literature to reset almost immediately 1/3 of our genes to a healthier state. So what does that mean? Well, genes go through what's called oxidation. They get damaged. The GHK can reset those. Cellular repair, I mentioned that earlier. It's not a go to the gym one day and you can be in a bodybuilding contest the next. It's not how it works. Brain starts to be balanced. Collagen, what's made of collagen in your body? Everything. Even your bone matrix is made of collagen. Your skin, your hair, your organs, collagen. 12 months. Big differences. I want to introduce you now to the founder of LifeWave, David Schmidt. This video gives you a little bit of glimpse into the person, the man, the inventor, and his heart. I think you can get some of that from this video.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. There is more information there than most people would ever realize. I was 8 years old, and my parents wanted to take me to the workshop of Thomas Edison. On the drive back home, I said to my dad, I want to be an inventor. Light, as it turns out, is the primary control mechanism for everything else that happens in the body. What if we could have an external electromagnetic field that would essentially reset the stem cells that are already in our bodies and get them to function like younger, healthier cells? What if in the process we actually found out that in a book that was written thousands of years ago, that information already existed? God has left his fingerprint in natural design, and that blueprint shows up in nature. The mathematical codes are identical. The implications to this are absolutely extraordinary. What drives me is that there's this enormous sense of hope that we can create technology to generate clean energy, that we can have foods that aren't genetically modified, and we can meet all of the needs on the planet that we have to, and that we can heal people.
You just caught a glimpse into the future of the things that David Schmidt will be bringing forth. Here's where you geeky people want to go, where you want to read studies and spend a lot of time doing that. This will open up. There have been over 80 of them. You can go there. So when you go to whythelight.com, you'll scroll down, and where you see David's video, you can click right there. Okay, so how do you get them? Funny you should ask. I have something that's not working really well. There we go. Okay. You can either purchase a 1-month supply one time for $150, $149.95. I don't recommend that. In fact, if you think you want to do that, I would tell you just not do that, because you want to give your body a chance to rebuild. Now, having said that, I'm not telling you not to buy it. I'm just saying that there are people who notice differences right away. I wasn't one of them, and we don't know in advance if you are one of them, but we do know that the X39 elevates stem cells, the regenerative cells, for regeneration and repair. So you can either be a customer, and the company will give you wholesale pricing on any product that you have on a recurring order that you are totally in charge of. You have your own login, you can alter it, you can add, you can subtract, you can whatever you want to do. But if you use the PC Plus program, you get a lot of samples, and if you remain a customer for a year, at the end of that year, you actually get an entire 30-day supply of the product of your choice. Or for those of you who want to share this product, like I mentioned, you can actually, there's no big fee or anything. All you have to do is purchase several months worth in advance. These are different kits that you can purchase to start your journey, to get yourself your own website. So when you tell people about them, they go to yours. And who knows, after a few months, maybe there's enough money coming in to pay for your own patches. And then you're regenerating for free, so to speak. So there are different kits. They have different amount available in the cart, different dollar amounts. This would be enough for one person to use the X39 for 3 months. This would be enough for one person to use the X39 for 6 months. Or it'd be 2 people, obviously, for 3 months. It has the name of another patch here that decreases inflammation. It's listed here because stem cells are attracted to inflammation, like a moth to a light. But if it's too much inflammation, it's like a moth to a flame, and stem cells die, whether you get them injected or elevate your own. And this is why this is a good patch to wear in tandem with the X39, because it decreases inflammation. This one would be more for a family for multiple months. This one over here would be for a practitioner or someone who has some kind of a business where you want to sell them, or someone who wants to be a really fast builder in this business because people want to have their product right away, and you can be the supplier of that. However you do it, get with the person who invited you to this webinar tonight and say, hey, patch me up, baby. Get a patch on you. The company has a 90-day money-back guarantee for customers. And so you really have nothing to lose. You can wear them for 3 months. You can change your mind. But once you start experiencing the health benefits, I doubt if you will. Totally up to you. And also, if you are one of those people whose industry is going to be greatly affected by the takeover of AI. My wife works for Micron Technology. They make computer chips. The $250,000 a year salaried software engineers, by 2027, AI is going to be better than they are. I've heard stats about so many job losses that it will start to affect our Social Security. Because what's Social Security funded by? Wages. So if you ever had the desire, to be your own boss, call your own shots, this technology is a way to do it. What it's done for me is that it allowed me to sell my practice in September of last year, and now I just work from where I want. I'm still wearing my house slippers in my house, in my studio, and this is a small part of what we do. We share this technology to help our friends with their health, but it seems like a lot of people want to use it. So that's one of the reasons we invited you here, or the person invited you here. So get back to that person and tell them, I want to be somebody's Barbara, and then go help patch people up. Thanks for coming, everybody. Next Wednesday, we have a great doc, and I've got a lineup for the next month of really great doctors and athletes coming on so that I can interview them there. We'll see you next week, and get a patch on.